my workshop. I am Derek Kennedy. I am starting a new YouTube channel based out of my shop. Trying to get the word out there that anybody can do these things. You don't need to be intimidated by it like the big media outlets seem to make it, like Fine Working Magazine make it, so that it seems so complicated. And no, you can't do that unless you go to school and you learn how to do that stuff, or else we're, you know, coming to arrest you, something like that. CK Woodworking, or Woodworks for you. Basically, just Kennedy Customs on YouTube. Array, but I'll give you a bit of a tour. My old saw quit on me right in the middle of a million projects going on, and I had to go out and buy this new rigid 10-inch cast iron top saw, which is great. I love it. One thing I built onto it was this plywood and 2x material extension wing. It comes open, so I built into it like most of them do. One project I'm working on right now, which I'm planning on doing a video on shortly after this one, of after I finish sanding it, it's got to go into finishing. It's this Japanese inspired Keepsake Box. It's got these nice Japanese handles, some nice little molding I made there for it. These legs, this ash legs and cherry splines in it, you can see those. Again, some ash Japanese inspired handles. Here, actually, you can see it. All in all, it turned out really nice, especially since I was kind of rushed. Cherry handle. I'm not sure what this wood is on top. I think it's a mahogany, an African mahogany, but it came out of a pallet, and I really liked the grain structure in it, and it goes really well with the cherry. So, you know, it turned out, all in all, quite nice, and I'm going to be finishing it later today, hopefully, if I get time, so we'll see more about that then. Onto that, something I've been inspired by YouTube huge to do this. There's half of the stuff in my shop, the idea came from YouTube, like this dust collection Cyclone here. Still needs a little work. I haven't had time to go and get the proper fittings, so right now it's kind of rigged together with some tape, painter's tape at that, but it works. I got sick and tired of cleaning out that shop back there because the fine dust and everything, it would all, you know, clog the filter. Anyone that has a shop knows this, and it's a big pain to have to clean it out, and dust flies everywhere when you do it. And it's winter time right now, and I really don't want to go outside and do it. It's cold out there. As you can see, it's you know, snowing right now. It's cold. That's my lawn tractor covered up out there. Something else around the shop. There's my board I just made, my dry erase board. I've got the hanger system up there that I haven't quite finished off. The few clamps that I do have, I really need to go get more, but so far these few have done okay. You can never have too many clamps, and I just haven't had the money to go and, you know, spend the money. Especially I want some parallel clamps, but they're so expensive, and I know that they're worth the money, but I have 2 kids and a wife, and you know, rent to pay and all that, and it's expensive. That's the most important thing in my shop. That radio right there saves my life. I'd go crazy without it. Got my special fork here. Actually, I had to eat dinner down here the other day because I was busy. Getting ready for a showcase last night, actually. And I kind of had to grab things around the shop because most of the stuff I build gets taken to the customer. So I had very few things that were finished. And half the stuff wasn't finished because it's for me and I haven't had time to get to it. So it wasn't a big deal if it was. I wasn't going to have a customer yelling at me. Then I got this rigid R4331 13-inch thickness planer, which is also currently down and out. Coincidentally, that planer and my old table saw quit on the same day. I don't know what's wrong with the planer. It just won't turn on all of a sudden. It worked fine, shut it off, turn it back on, won't turn on. It has this little safety breaker here, because in case the motor goes to overheat, then this trips, so you don't blow your motor up. And I think it's actually blown, not the motor, but the breaker. So it's got to go to the repair shop. It's all under warranty, so that's okay. This is getting some little casters glued on it right now. or well, these little blocks glued on it right now, which these tiny little dinky plastic casters will be put into for the Cyclone system. Because otherwise it kind of tips around. And I already had that little stand made for a bucket to set underneath my old table saw and collect the dust. And on the old table saw left, I figured when I'm going to build a Cyclone, I can use it to support it. And eventually, when I get time, it'll probably be a video build on it when I do get to it. I want to build a system for this to sit on a shelf above the shop vac, and it'll be a solid a unit that can be tucked in the corner. And over here we got my Spindle Sander, and it's sitting on top of my router table right now because I don't have a space for it. I'm in the middle of moving my shop around. Since the table saw came in, I've had to move the shop around a bit, and kind of decided it's time. When I built the shop, I didn't know enough about what I needed, and now that I've been into it for just over a year, I need to make some changes, like that workbench. Too big, too bulky, needs to be smaller, maybe two, one that fixed and one that will move around and be kind of an assembly table. Then I got some lumber here, some 2x material glued together, some ash, some more 2x material, one strip of oak that was supposed to be for a jewelry box, but we never got around to it. I really wanted to get into kind of cutting my own lumber out of wood, and I don't have the bandsaw due, and I don't have the money to pull in one of those big lumber mills. So we tried it with a chainsaw. With one of my friend's trees came down, and we managed to cut this one big chunk of the trunk up. I don't know if you can see it. It's big. There. Well, 3 inches of solid maple. It's probably about 12 inches wide, and it's sitting there drying right now. I really want to get into it, but it's still too wet. But man, does it ever chew up a chainsaw when you run straight down the log? So we ended up only cutting that one, and the rest was just kind of chunks of logs that we took. That I was going to be getting a bandsaw to deal with, because I really want a bandsaw. All I got right now is this little squirrel saw, and it does a good job for most of the shaping, but as soon as you get material that, you know, is too thick, you can't really do it well, and the jigsaw doesn't run that deep with the blades, so we can't do that either. So when I ended up having to buy the table saw. My bandsaw kind of went on hiatus for the time being, but there will be one. I just gotta figure out where it's gonna go in this tiny shop. Some pallet wood back here. That's going to be a box for my daughter's dance school. They have a recital and they need a box for one of their shows for a girl to dance through, so it's really just a 4-sided box. But they wanted it to look rustic, like it's been out in an alley sort of thing. So that's why I used that. And I kind of sanded this material down too far, but it was really splintery. So I didn't have much of a choice because I don't want the dancers getting, you know, slivers and stuff. So I'm gonna have to do some aging with it. Wood Whisperer has a good video on using baking soda to age wood, and actually learned how to ebonize lumber through some videos on YouTube. Like I said, YouTube's a big inspiration. Most of what I know has come from YouTube originally. This is some, I think it's called iron oxide. It's basically vinegar and steel wool, and you let it sit, and even when you put the wood in, touch the wood on it, or put this on the wood, it reacts with the tannins in the wood and turns it black, well, a shade of black. And if you're not getting quite enough, if you do tea in vinegar or tea in water, tea is full of tannins, so if you put that on first and then the iron oxide, then you get it darker because you've introduced more tannins. The downside of that is you have to have your finished product ready for it first. It can't be sanded or anything because it only does the top layer of the wood. So as soon as you sand, you actually take that ebony out. But I'll do a video of the table I built for my grandmother that I had those little ebony cherry splines in it, because it turned out really nice. And I'll kind of, you know, just give you a little walk around of it. If you visit my Facebook page, it's Kennedy Customs. You'll see pictures of the build on there. Also on Twitter, it's, what is it? KC, Kennedy Customs _ woodwork. And there's some pictures of it on there, I believe I posted too. And I do try to update all my builds on those media platforms. I'll take you out in the garage, show you a couple of things that I plan on doing, because the whole point of this channel is to kind of show everybody that anybody can do this stuff. You don't have to know what you're doing. You can teach yourself, because I'm 100% self-taught. Especially over the last year, I've really had to push myself and develop skills to do these things. And I'll have perfect example of what you can do without even knowing anything in just a minute. Just hold on a sec, I'll take you out the garage. Boo! Okay, back in the garage. It's a long trip up the stairs. That's my main source of lumber right now. Most of it's ash, because I get a good deal on it, and it's a stable wood, it's nice to work with, and it's relatively cheap. You can always, cheap's good. I also got some cherry here, getting down on it. I like cherry, it's beautiful wood. I do plan on getting some walnut and a couple other species for some upcoming projects, but that's a little bit down the road. Like I said, my shop update of trying to make it a better shop is going to take an awful lot, so we'll probably deal with those first, and a couple small builds, maybe some boxes and stuff first, and in between the shop updates, upgrades, if you will. I got some birch plywood. You can see it, my camera adjusts. Some birch plywood here, which I need a couple sheets, some 2x material. That's that maple, those maple slabs, logs, cuts that we're going to be sliced up into small maple boards on the bandsaw that I no longer can afford until I save up some more money for it. This here is just pretty much some of the stuff from the showcase. This thing, built it years ago before I even had a shop. It was just built in a garage. You get this box I started, oak and pine. I know the two probably don't go together, but I like the way wood contrasts together, the light and dark. And there's an article in Fine Woodworking that the good color matches for wood, and the don'ts was ash and cherry. And turns out my grandmother's table looks beautiful with ash and cherry. They really think they know it all, but they don't. And that's I don't know. You could go on a whole rant about the big woodworking magazines and their sites that are pretty much failing right now because of videos like these on YouTube. And really, I think it's scaring them. There's a wolf here. You see that? The chunk of wood was a scrolled out wolf on it, kind of burned. Sorry, my daughter interrupted me. This kind of funky, all the writing's backwards, but you can see it. It was a Christmas thing for my mom. First got the router, wanted to try writing some stuff. It turned out okay. It's not the most professional looking in the world, but it's kind of nice in a childlike way, I guess. This box, this is another example. These two boxes here, these I did when I was 12 on my neighbor's scroll saw, the little reindeer. This box here, also built, I think, right after I did this chest, which we'll go into that in a minute. But this box is all pine, except for the bottom. There's a little piece of ash, and a few pieces of ash, and then some ash splines here along the edge. And if you can see, the edges are kind of shaped to a 45, which the bottom is cracked now because my daughter dropped it off a high dresser. Must have hit the wrong way. And then some there's some pine ash, and so they get progressively smaller as they go down until they get this big piece here. And I did this within the first 4 months of having a shop, after kind of practicing, cuts and how to use and how to do things properly, or how to make things fit, and how to tune up the table saw, which was really, I wish I'd never bought it. It gave me more headaches than, I'm glad it died. So yeah, I mean, it turned out quite well, and it's not, $1 million box, but my daughter loves it, and I built it for her, and I thought it was a good project to start trying to learn on. And it really was, because I learned a lot just from doing this small little box. And if you start trying to do these things yourself, you'll kind of notice how much value comes even doing small little things like trying to do a perfect 45-degree miter joint. You'll never get a perfect 45-degree miter joint, but you can get close. And test cuts and practice and make sure your table saw or whatever you're using is tuned up properly, or you can just do it by hand, by eye, by making sure you mark out your guidelines with a pencil and a straight edge ruler and just taking your time with it and staying, you know, where you need to stay. Now onto this chest. This was literally the first thing I built. It was a huge woodworking project for me, and it was based off of Norm Abram from New Yankee Workshop. He did an episode with building a pine blanket chest, and I watched it. I said, I could do that. It popped in my head. I want to build that. I'm gonna build that. I can do that. And I had no idea. I'd done construction, but this is totally different. So I had this lid live edge. I kept the shape and contour of a board I had, and it's glued up with 4 other pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and you could probably see them. I didn't know enough about lining up grain either then, and you can tell that in the lid. I actually almost sold this last night. Guy wanted it, and his wife didn't want to pay the money for it, so it never got sold. So it's going back into my bedroom because we like it. All these raised panels were all cut on my table saw, and as you can see, they're recessed on the front. And they're done very simple with rabbet joints and inserting them into these dados here. If you can see it, these dados right here where all the joints get put together. It's basically tongue and groove construction, and they all get slid in together, glued, and clamped. And I think this whole chest, other than the piano hinge there, is done with glue, and it's not falling apart. So these are kind of things we're going to look at. Also, we have this wine rack here. Put the bottleneck in the hole and let it hang. Bunch of small projects, just things that everyday people can do. You don't have to have fancy machinery to do it. So keep an eye out, because we will be starting a build as soon as I get some of the details worked out. And I know this is a very long video. I might try to split it into 2 and warn everybody. But I felt like I had a lot to say, and I'm also going to put an inspirational video out there, just kind of how I got into this, who inspired me, where I get my project ideas from, and so forth, shortly after this. So keep an eye out for that. If you like what we're planning on doing, subscribe and like this video, because I do plan on putting a lot of content out there. Probably a video a week, maybe every 2 weeks to start till we get things ironed out. And then probably a video a week after that, and we'll see what we can do, because maybe I want to reach as many people as I can and get the word out there you can do these things. So from me to you, wood is for you. See ya.